Hello there one and all, it is Toby from TIJ Gaming and welcome to a brand new video. Today it is time for the Tour de France 2020. That's right, we are 2 months ahead of the Peloton. Today is the 4th of June and the Tour de France 2020 game today has been released on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. It will also be released on the PC but at a later date. And also today being released is its PC counterpart, also a knock-on title, which is Pro Cycling Manager 2020. That's another game that I've got today, so if you're interested in that as well, make sure to go and watch the first impressions video of that, which is coming out at exactly the same time as this. Oh, goodness me, a lot to look forward to. Now, I haven't played the Tour de France game since probably about 2012, but I've done a little bit of training. I've kind of got used to the game a little bit, didn't want to look like a complete idiot starting off, but we should be okay. Today we're going to look at my first impressions of the game before later on today starting my career mode in the pro team. I was going to do a pro leader, but we're going to do a pro team career mode. So if that is your bag, if that is what you like the sound of, make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for all of those future videos. And of course, you'll be getting your double dose of cycling content with the Pro Cycling Manager stuff. And if you're interested in snooker at all, if that's your bag, then I also do snooker here as well. But we've only got a few options to start off with. So just to talk through the game, I suppose, first. We've got a few different options here. We've got the race, so just general stage races. You can do a challenge alone or against a friend. You can do the training, which has got several parts. I did that last night. That was very beneficial. We've got the pro team, which I'll be looking at later in the later video today. The pro leader, obviously talking about what's new. Options and then editors, so and then you can alter the name of riders. But I believe the name, the game is pretty much live, just showing you through all the fancy options and all that if you're interested in that sort of thing. So what is new? There's a new first-person camera. Press the right stick to find yourself on your rider's saddle and take part in a new classic, the Liège-Bastogne-Liège, available in race, pro team and pro leader roads. This race is one of the most demanding on the calendar. New time trial gameplay and in-depth management of effort, team accomplishments and bonus points. Absolutely fantastic. Without any further ado, let's get into it. Let's see what else we've got here. So we've got, okay, cool. All different bits and pieces here, a lot here, which is great. But really, what we're interested in, of course, is the Tour de France, isn't it? It has to be. Let's see. So, solo, cyanide, professional. We'll go with cyanide, I think, if we can pick that. Ah, right, you pillock. Yeah, I thought these, but I thought they were the difficulties. Yeah, idiot. Right, I understand now. We'll play on professional, cyanide, and then we'll play solo. So for a bit of background about me, I do watch the Tour de France pretty much every year, bits and bobs. It obviously depends whether I've got the time to do it. That's one thing that lets everyone down, I think, at some point. But the highlights are always good over here on ITV4. So who are we going to go with? That is the question. We could go with Movistar, potentially. But because I'm an F1 fan, and I do like McLaren, we're going to go with the McLaren-sponsored team, the Bahrain McLaren team. No, we're not going to alter the team. We're just going to go with exactly what it is at the moment. And let's start the first stage.
Hi guys, welcome to the briefing for this first stage. The main thing to grasp today is that the route is flat and it harbours no particular difficulties. A sprint finish is more than likely. This stage is of no interest to us. Keep cozy inside the peloton. Have a good stage.
Okay, so our briefing is just to keep cozy inside the peloton. That was exactly what there is. Of course, all the stages for the Tour de France are in. It's a fully licensed game, so we've got the Grand Depart today from Nice. And then we've got all of the different stages, all the way up to, of course, that final stage where we reach the Champs-Élysées in Paris for the end of the Tour de France. We're only going to do the first stage today, or at least as far as we can get. Of course, we can. I quite like this about the Tour de France game. You can run it in quick stage mode, so very quickly, and yeah, I'm not really too bothered about that. I suppose if there are a stage you're not a fan of, that's a good idea. But then we can race the stage and all, which is what we'll do. And then we can fast forward whenever we want. But if you're looking forward to more Tour de France content on the channel, let me know. And I must admit, I'm not the biggest cycling fan in the world. I know a little bit about the Tour de France, but not a hell of a lot. Not a massive amount. So, excuse me if I get a few details wrong. This is exactly like the rugby game I got early on in the year. I do know a little bit about rugby, but not exactly every little nook and cranny. But here we go.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this Grand Depart in the Nice hinterland. We have an unusual route for this first stage because in a rare event for the Tour de France, the riders will have to complete 3 big circuits. However, that probably won't...
And the Grand Depart is underway. Oops. So here we go. We've, we know all that because I've done the tutorial. Basically, what I really like, because I was worrying at one point, so this effort bar, I thought, as you can see, the yellow bar, you have to control it with the right trigger. But the good thing is, you can decrease that effort bar and increase it. For some reason, it's not working at the moment. Why is it not working? There you go, as you can see. You just decrease that effort bar, and then when you accelerate, it just keeps you at that effort. So you don't have to accelerate any more or less than you would usually. Just keep it to the normal bar. Now, this isn't really of interest to us. We've only just gone because, well, we went a little bit too quick there. But it's a 160 kilometre stage. So we're going to go nice and slow. Again, we've got no interest in really being at the front of this pack at the start here. So I'm just going to put it down to pretty much the minimum effort possible. But I haven't raced in anything with anybody else particularly. I've just done the training, so not particularly sure how this will all work. But there's Lecol. Not Lecol, that's our sponsor, Pillock. I thought that was his name there. But House is just behind us. We've got Poles who's just moved ahead. I do quite like the commentary on this game. It's very unique. Very good. Now, a lot of people might say, well, what on earth do you do on the... There we go, right, okay. I'm well aware of that as well. So when you hold down X, you'll simply just follow the rider in front of you without any having to put any effort in at all. So I've got my hand off the accelerator and everything else. Just got my hand on the X, and we're just following the man in front. Obviously, the problem with that is that if Denise goes and completely bolts, then we'll follow him unless if we're kind of falling to sleep. But as you can see, the pack very close together at the start. So 158 kilometres to go. We can fast forward at any time. Not particularly sure how. I think you have to get to a certain point, don't you? Have to get to a certain point in the race to be able to fast forward. But we're in 36, which is absolutely fine. As it was hinted at earlier, we're just expected to stay inside the peloton in this stage. At the top of the climb, don't ease up straight away. Okay, cool. Again, it doesn't matter. We'll just stay inside the peloton. Attempt at a counter-attack from a few. Well, there you go. Already gone. A few of these guys have. Okay, interesting. You're approaching a mountains classification sprint. The higher the category, the more points there are to be scored. Wait until the end of the climb before putting on a sports spurt if you want to score points. It's good to see the tutorial, or even though I have done the training, it is quite nice to see that.
1.5 minutes for the breakaway. It might just well.
The first riders are 2 kilometers from the climb.
Right, they're 2 kilo from the climb. We're not going to follow these now. But we are in 5th. So we might as well just go for it here. A little bit. So how far is this away now? Can't be too far. All the crowd, even a Russian flag in there. Look at that. So the top 5 score points. Top 4, sorry. So we are in 5th at the moment. Put a little more effort in. As you can see, our rider's right behind us.
The time gap between the peloton and the breakaway is decreasing.
It's 1 kilometre away from this first mountain checkpoint where the top 4 get some points. But the top one, Brandl, as you can see, is just 0.1 away, and he's going to get 2 points. So it's only the top 2 that get points for this, because it is only one of those that can garner 2 points. But nevertheless, we're over it in 5th. You can do bike throw here, where as you can see, is more you can do at the end, just to try and get the edge over your opponent. But the game handles well.
There are riders in trouble behind. They should be able to catch up if the tempo drops.
Now that effort bar is really handy. That yellow effort bar, really handy. Just going to take all the power off here because we are coming down a slight slope.
He's a rider who likes short, sharp climbs. His capabilities in the high mountains are relatively limited.
And then we are coming back up again. So we're going to slow down, get behind De Buist, and try and follow him. It's a bit of a learning curve, this game, I think. But it should be an enjoyable blast, and hopefully one that you guys will all enjoy too. But this, as I said, is my first impression. So first impressions, I suppose it's something you asked for, are pretty good. I'm enjoying this. Again, the graphics are very good, at least in my opinion. They are very good.
A good ruler with not too bad a punch.
And the commentary is pretty good as well. It's just a case of learning the game over time. As you can see, the Peloton not too far away here. I know we were told to really get into the Peloton and not really focus on this battle, but we'll just slow down a little bit now. And get in behind one of these, whoever it is, doesn't really matter who. And then just follow. There we go. That's more like it. Obviously, you don't want to be exposed, particularly. So you just want that little less drag. So Dillier and Simon look like the lead at the moment. There we go. We're following Bernacle here. Not exactly clear when we can skip, but this is okay at the moment. As you can see, the Peloton is just behind. 449 kilometres to go.
He's more of a puncher ruler with a good finish, if in a small group. The first are over and into the descent on the road back towards Nice.
So as you've heard there, we've skipped a little bit. The first are on the descent now. Obviously, we've pushed back into the Peloton a little bit. As I've said, our goal in this one is to do absolutely nothing apart from just sticking the Peloton. This is not anything that interests us particularly. God, that's a big sign to go left. It's a bit of a hint, isn't it? I can only presume that we can skip perhaps at the first checkpoint. But here comes this descent. So let's get the aerodynamic position, which is used with RB, and it just doesn't use any power, and it just means you can just save a little bit. I know we're being passed by a lot, but it doesn't matter in my opinion. Right, here we go. Try and make some headway.
The time gap with the head of the race is stable.
And then we'll just follow. Oh, that's very tight to get through there. And a few of these corners, it has to be said. So the gap to the Peloton to the front is 2 minutes and 43. Pretty stable as mentioned before. But this is a very large descent. So again, we might as well use the aerodynamic position. I know a lot of people are still pedaling, but you know, I don't see the point of doing that personally. And we'll just follow again. So it's gone up slightly to 246, the lead that the main guys have got from the Peloton. The breakaway. Oh dear. I think that's our teammate there that's down. That's not good to hear. Let's see if we can get the classification. Not sure.
Wide road without any bends on a descending falls flat, thus favouring the work of the sprinters teams.
Well, there you go. This is what I love about this sort of game. It just tells you what's going on. A lot of games, especially if you've haven't got a lot of knowledge, you'll be like, what on earth is going on here? So this is a very quick descent. Not really using much effort at all. And we are carving our way through. the peloton a little bit here, which is excellent. Into the top 100 now, whilst not really using much power.
A teammate is beginning to lose touch.
Teammates begin to lose touch. I think you can change riders at some point, if I'm correct. Let's just have a quick look. Change rider, why? That's feeds. I'm not interested in a feed. Oh, hang on. We could lose all our position here. Oh, go again. Oh, dear. Yeah, it said why to change rider, so I'm not exactly sure whether you can maybe only do that perhaps in the team stuff. But we are losing touch a little bit with the peloton, so I'm going to make an attack here. Try and get back up with the peloton. As you can see, maximum power here. And while we're at it, we might as well just try and push a little. But we are using a little bit of our feed, so we're going to get some of that lovely juice down us. Don't want to use it all, of course, at this point. And there we are, back in touch. And this is good. So we might as well do the whole of this first stage in this first impressions video. But I will fast forward a little because it could take quite a while. So currently we're 10 kilometres away from Nice. The gap from the peloton to the breakaways getting a little bit lower. It was about 2 minutes 40 a few minutes ago. It's now 2:20. And as you can see, we're just keeping in the peloton. That's exactly what I've been told to do today. I know that we could potentially have a sprint at the finish, but I'll decide when we get to there what we do. But again, I'm quite happy with this game. I just think it's great. You know, there's no drops in frames or anything, particularly considering there's a hell of a lot going on. And the graphics are pretty good. The controls are good. The handling's good. So, seriously, I haven't been given this game... Well, I have been given this game for free. But as an honest bloke, I'd tell you, you know, if you're a cycling fan and you're missing the Tour de France, I'd definitely get this. There's an attack at the head of the peloton. That's interesting to see. So obviously that gap from the peloton to the breakaway will potentially drop in a second. But it's about £35 to £40 on the PS4 and Xbox One. The PC version will be coming out a little bit later. But as I've said, the Pro Cycling Manager 2020 game is already out. So if you want to see my opinions on that, then head over to the channel. Well, the peloton's riding really hard here. Really going for it, you have to say. So we're going to have to keep with it a little. Just try and get in behind someone and follow it. Oh, those guys up against the wall are starting to struggle a little bit. As you can see, everybody's really going for it here. 5 kilometres away from arriving in Nice. And we're going to try and get to the front of the peloton here. Or at least close to it. Again, little by little, there's no rush. Just follow this guy here, Ciccone. The head of the race has finished the first circuit. Obviously mentioned at the start, this is free circuits. So we started in Nice, we'll come back to Nice, and obviously free circuits means we'll do it 3 times. But how long are we away now? 1 kilometre. From the finish and the completion of the first circuit. Problem is, of course, it's very tricky to get through this line of people.
There will be 2 points and 1 point for the mountains classification.
That's it. Lovely. We're getting through here a little bit. You've got to follow the right person. So making a bit of a break here. This is good to see. As you can see, we're not quite up with those who are making a huge break, but in the top 30 we'll take that, and everybody just cooling down a little bit now. So as you can see, we're using the fast forward button now. We can ride as any of the riders, any of the guys that we've got. But this is a good idea. I do like this. It's just an auto fast forward. I mean, that was a bit dodgy with the grass then, but it's probably because it's going very, very quickly. But I'll probably see you guys with maybe, let's say, 20 kilos to go. And we'll do the 20 kilos. 20 kilometres to go, and we'll race that last 20. So there's 20 kilometres to go. There are just a few things I'd like to show you. Is we can change to any rider at any time. But obviously as well, we can give them instructions. So attack or get on the better tempo or even protect someone. But we're going to stay as who we are. And we're just going to resume. There's 20 kilometres to go. And rather amazingly, there's still a gap of over 60 seconds to the breakaway. It was about 55 seconds with about 35 kilometres to go. But it's risen again. So potentially we could struggle to get them. I think it's those guys up there. Got to be. That we can just about see in the distance. But again, there's no expectation for us to do anything this stage. But let's see how we go on. This is the first time I'm going to ever finish a Tour de France race on this game. Obviously, just done the training so far. But if you like what you see, we will certainly get better at the game as we go on. We're going to do, hopefully, a poor bloke on the outside here. We're ramming onto the grass. Apparently, the Peloton should be there for the stage. We're in the gap at 1:16 now. But I'm hoping, at least, again, permitting time, etc., I should be able to do a series with a full Tour de France playthrough. All the stages on the Pro Team career. So if you're looking forward to that, make sure to leave a like down below.
At 15 kilometres from the line, as expected, the sprinters' teams are managing the pace for a bunched finish.
It's going to be a close finish here. 1 minute and 9 to the breakaway. It's going to be fairly close here, you know, because we're not decreasing the gap massively unless someone completely bolts through. Look at all that. Look at that line on the left-hand side. 1 minute 6. And this is the 14 kilometre line. Not quite. Nearly, but not quite. So, I don't think anybody's really come out of the race. Everybody there, apart from those few at the back. Always inevitable in this sort of race. It always is heartbreaking that those who lead the breakaway at the end of the race get mugged sometimes. But that is their role sometimes.
Stay focused. You know the finish. You've already been through there twice. There's no particular hazard to be mentioned. Go.
Okay. So, 58 seconds to the front. Some of the guys at the front are going to start to go for it now. 57 seconds, 12 kilometres to go. We're not interested though. We're just going to get tucked up behind this guy here. As you can see, there's a few of the guys from our team that are levelling with us now, which is nice to see. And are now 11 kilometres to go. The gap is closing. Are the breakaway going to be able to do it here? So we're roughly about 0.8, 0.9 kilometres away from the leaders at the moment. So I'd guess a minute is roughly around a kilometre. There's the 10 kilometre line. Expect some guys to start sprinting now. We're in 46th, obviously moving in around the peloton. We're just following McLeod's, come to the inside now. Philipson, as you can see, just ahead has started to bolt a little bit, and we move outside the top 50 for the first time. That's absolutely okay. 9 kilometres to go. The gap is stabilised to the breakaway, so unless somebody moves, this could be a win for the breakaway. But obviously, you've got to time it exactly right. It's the crucial thing with these races. This is what I love about the Tour de France. You know, you're racing for 150 odd kilometres, and really, it all comes down to the last 2 kilometres. It's quite crazy, really. Obviously, it's not all about that. It's a hell of a lot more about strategy throughout, but it is amazing, that is. And of course, it's just an endurance. Such a shame we haven't got it in real life, but this is the next best thing, isn't it? 6.5 kilometres to go. Again, the gap isn't decreasing to the breakaway, so unless the breakaway completely bottle it at the end, we should be good. We might as well use all of our drink up. Isn't going to hurt. And there's the 5 kilo line. Again, we've got some drink to use, so we might as well use it. 4.5 kilometres to go. The gap is still 54 seconds. 4 kilos.
Less than 3 kilometres for the breakaway. And we'll fight it out for victory.
So it looks like the breakaway are indeed going to win this. Going to just keep following this McLeod. Looks to be doing pretty decently. Can't argue with that. We could get a bit knackered before the end though. So, 2.5 to go. I think it's good to go. Maybe with about 1.5 kilometres to go. I know that might be a little bit late, but even so. So that line there, I believe, is the 1 kilometre line. The breakaway are going to win this.
The breakaway is at the red pennant.
Let's go.
The breakaway is under the red pennant. It's going
Come on. The breakaway wins. The breakaway wins. Gonna have to be careful because that red line's going very quickly. She's got a power now. Power! And bike throw. And over the line we come. And I think we get inside the top 50. That wasn't too bad at all there. Let's finish the stage. The last rider is 7 kilometres from the finish. Let's have a look where our guys finished. So we were controlling Lander. I think we finished about 49th. So let's just see who got to finish the stage. So let's have a look at the standings after the first stage of the Tour de France 2020. So here's Lander. As you can see, we didn't do too bad. We just slowed down a little bit, unfortunately. But we made up a few flights before the end. Oh, that's okay. So let's quit the replay, go to the results, find out what happened in the first race. Breakaway won that by about 30 seconds, I think, in the end.
He succeeded in avoiding all the pitfalls to win today. Here is the winner of the inaugural stage of this Tour de France. Congratulations to him. He really was the strongest. He fully deserves this prestigious victory. We can say that everything is going well for him at the moment. Here is the yellow jersey of this Tour de France. It is a moment that he should not forget.
So the first yellow jersey of the tournament goes to Barbero. Very quickly got changed there. Obviously, there's 2 different podiums for general classification and all these sort of things. Hence why the same bloke is getting up a few times here on the top of the podium. He's got a green jersey as well. Goodness me. Anyway, let's skip all this now because he keeps getting up on the podium. Younger riders, though. Pedersen is in there. And that's good to see. We get an achievement as well for a baptism of fire. Let's have a look. I presume that is just to finish the first stage. Absolutely is. We're not going to save our progress. Yes, we finished right on the money in 50th. As you can see, it's very close between the top 3. Brandl made a little bit of a breakaway to finish 4th. But not much between anybody else, really. As you can see, very, very tight. Our first guy finished in 50, which was me. Lander in 50th. And then the rest of our guys, unfortunately, I suppose you could say, finished below the top 100. But that's absolutely okay. Not fussed about that at all. But yeah, that was really enjoyable. Really enjoyable. Hope you guys have enjoyed. I certainly have. I will be back in the next, well, in a few hours time, hopefully, for the next stage. Even though we will do the first stage over again because it's the career mode. It is the start of the second stage, just for you to see. But really nice to see the official graphics. But if you've enjoyed that first impressions video, make sure to leave a like down below. It always helps with the performance of these first videos. Gets more viewers onto the videos, and that is the most important thing with these new games, to get more people interested, etc, etc. But leave a like if you enjoyed. Comment as well your thoughts about the game, whether you're going to pick it up. And subscribe for regular Tour de France 2020 content. Thank you very much for watching. I've been TIJ Gaming, and a big thank you to Dead Good PR for giving me a code for the game, a review code. Thoroughly enjoyed it so far. I'll be back later with the start of the Pro Team career. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye for now.